This is my Ironman 70.3 Venice Just Slow race recap. Going into it, I was a little bit nervous, had a little bit of doubt about where I was in terms of actually being able to deliver my fitness and put it out into a race. And I feel as though, on a whole, I actually managed to rectify that. So as it was, I think the race did exactly what I wanted it to do in terms of increasing confidence and therefore being able to produce a performance that I'm capable of doing. However, I did not do that in this race. I think that this race was ludicrous in terms of the actual performances that were put out, and I just was not on the ball, probably slightly because of that confidence, but yeah, it was very impressive from the guys out there. Hey, this is the last session before Venice. Ollie's down with me. He's gonna test some helmets, but I've got about 40 minutes worth of work over and under threshold, so yeah, should be good fun. Got the TT rigs out. Ollie in full gear, full kit wanker, tri-seat and all.
I love it. I love triathlon.
But yeah, got the TT rigs out, gonna have some fun and hopefully get some good footage. "15 minutes as 90 seconds LT2, 90 seconds LT1.
What powers are you holding?
I was 380 for LT2 and 340 for LT1. So, well, it must have been just under 340 for LT1 because I was averaging about 355 for the rep.
Ready to go this weekend then?
We'll see.
Don't sound so enthusiastic.
No, I'm good. I'm in good nick. It's just, you know,
Tired now?
sessions don't always
Correlate.
What?
Don't always correlate.
Don't always correlate. It is race week. I am on Tuesday, so flying out tomorrow to Venice, which will be great. I'm just about to do a swim session, hard swim session, probably a bit of threshold, and then yeah, carry on with the rest of my day. Haircut, run after swimming, and then a ride this afternoon and get ready to go. Must be doing some wetsuit testing or something. Barb's is here early, which is a rarity. It is an absolute belter of a day. Weather's changed to be good just as I'm about to go away. It's turned from about 8 degrees to 20 in the past couple of days. Hey, yeah.
I see you're just running professional.
Yeah.
Racing is proper kicking off, eh? So you're doing a 5k?
I'm doing what, sorry?
5k this Sunday.
Yeah, 5k this Sunday, bro. Whitchurch 5k.
Finally racing.
Welsh Championships. Let me see if I can become the Welsh champion as a Beijing. Hopefully Jake's missed
What sort of shape?
from
What
last
sort of
weekend.
shape?
Sub 14.
I have no idea. Maybe if I could dip under 15. My PB's 1440 from when I was 18.
Oh, you should beat
PC.
that.
1440.
That was
Beat,
Yeah.
beat
That was
Derry.
PC.
That was PC.
What's PC?
BC,
Before
before
clay.
carbon.
Before carbon, before clay.
Oh, before clay as well, true. That was about 12, what was it?
I guess we can do 15 seconds, can't we?
No, we can't do this.
Last ride at home before heading off to Venice. Oh, what a day. Absolute belter. I think I've done a similar sort of thing in swimming, biking and running, where I've just been a little bit more controlled in my training, a little bit more analytical, just making sure that I'm in the right zone. So yeah, do check it with lactics, do making sure that I'm below threshold power. And yeah, I still think it's going to be really tough, and whether or not that comes through into a good performance, we'll have to wait and see, because it's another Pro Series race and it's getting tougher and tougher, especially at 70.3 level, where a lot of the short course guys are coming up. So I'm doing what I can. I've upgraded my bike, I've got a new front cockpit, so hoping that has some good effect. And then what else have I done? Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done, as per the last video, a little bit more on that threshold, just under threshold side of things, to prep for the 70.3 instead of the full distance. But yeah, look, you can even see, like, as I'm talking now, there is doubt on where I'm at, how I'll perform, how the training will correlate to racing. And I guess the beauty of this race is that it's a little bit more relaxed for me, and I am feeling a little bit more relaxed, because at the end of the day I'm aiming more so towards the full distance this year than the 70.3. So on that, it relieves that little bit of pressure. I can just go and have fun, kind of see where I stack up, obviously give it my best effort, but if that's not that good of a position, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's all part of the bigger picture, and again, it's only going to be my second race of the season, so yeah, just bear all that in mind, I guess. Running is similar. I'm running quite well, so I don't think that South Africa was a good representation of exactly where my running's at, because obviously there was other things going on with regards to dehydration. It's a full distance, so you're not exactly seeing speed. But again, my running is nowhere near the level of these ITU boys that can run 3:10 a k, 3:15 a k for a 70.3. That's not me. So I guess I've still got to do my same game plan, which is put myself in the best position as possible for the longest possible, and just do what I can to execute my race, be up there if I can for yeah, as long as I can, and then see what I have in the legs on that back end. At the moment, my legs don't have a lot, because I did my main D session yesterday and it gave me a pretty solid session, which I don't know if that's a good idea, but I did it. I felt pretty strong doing it, but then because I had to also go to the tip in between sessions, I didn't recover very well, and in the evening I was pretty tired. But it's life. I'm balancing it all, and hopefully it'll all come through fruition towards the back end of the racing season, because it is still early. Oh, let's go up some gears. Yeah. Anyway, hoping to right some wrongs, but either way, it's more about how I feel within the race and about the race finishing. I think my bike and run and the swim, I think they're all in good place. So it's just about extracting that within the race scenario again, as I've done for the past couple of years, because I think the past couple of years I've literally performed to my potential, whereas I think in South Africa it didn't quite stack up. So I've done what I need to do in terms of preparing for it. Now it's just about going and executing. Starting with the swim, I swam 107 per 100 for the distance, which was just over 21 minutes, and got dropped. I mean, not necessarily in the swim, but after the swim, I didn't quite make the group because I was at the back of the pack, and didn't make the bike pack for one of the first times, other than South Africa, which was a different story. But I can't quite believe that that was the pace of the swim. There must have been a current, but also there was a lot of very high quality swimmers there. So anyway, from the start, dived in, managed to find Rico Bogan's feet, and looked across to my right, and there was a ton of people that were ahead of me, and I was like, there is no way that I'm getting to this first buoy anywhere near the top 10. And then all of a sudden, I was. Like, Rico had basically towed me all the way to the front, and I was within the first 5 people around that buoy, which was not ideal either, because it was absolute chaos when we hit that first buoy. So yeah, it was a bit frustrating in that respect, because I just couldn't push forward. And I think that a little bit from South Africa, where I didn't quite have the capability of pushing on, held me back a little bit in this race, because I didn't want to blow up. So it was a case of, okay, well, I'll just settle in, try and make my kind of position here okay and as comfortable as possible, and then push on later, which I never did, because again, I was a bit nervous. So I was just like, okay, well, this is quite tough, so I don't want to push on and then it go over the top and me not able to actually get to the end of the swim intact. So basically I shuffled back to the back of this group, but I was still in the front group, which is the main thing. And when I got out, I saw the group ahead of me, or not group ahead of me, but everyone had like kind of run up to transition. And I was at the back of it and just went through transition too slowly, because a lot of these athletes now were super, super quick through transition, and I just got left behind. And yeah, that's my fault. And when I came out of transition, out of T1, I was at the back and I could not chase on. The pace was too hot at the front, and I pushed, 270 almost for 20 minutes and didn't make any inroads. In fact, I lost 60 seconds. So from the front of the race, which I think out of T1 ended up about 30 seconds ahead of me, I think it was, all the way to me was 90 seconds by the time we'd finished the first 30K, which was mental. So that sucked, obviously. Like, I'd put in a decent effort to try and like kind of make my way towards the group. And yeah, I did pass a few of those people that were dropped from that group, but I just made no inroads and lost a lot of time. So I spent a lot of energy trying to close that gap. And because of that, I basically had to button off a lot to regroup. And eventually Nathan and Yannick Stroll caught me. And fortunately for me, I was able to recover on their wheel. Still had enough energy just about to sit on their wheel and just make sure that I was staying there. And obviously, like 12 meters back, we had the race ranger, which was amazing. Probably allowed me to stay a little bit closer in terms of like even 14 meters. I probably would have given a bit extra room, but yeah, staying at 14 meters or 14 to 17 meters was actually a lot of benefit for me just to be able to stay there. And eventually we managed to close the gap to the group in front, and that was by about 60k. So I think basically a lot of the pace had dropped off from that front group, and we kept the pace on all the way to 60. And then when I was there, I didn't want to hang around too much, so I made my way to the front-ish of the group, top 3 or 4, just to stay out of trouble, because it's easier to do that towards the front rather than at the back. It's far more spiky at the back. And yeah, just kind of stayed in that group then until T2. But by that point, obviously I'd spent 60k chasing on. My legs were tired and I was obviously really pleased to reconnect. But at the same time, I think that it cost me a lot of energy to do that. So it was a shame, because then I wasn't able to deliver a good run performance either. So I got into T2 in, I think, 4th position. So it was Rico off the front, Cam Main, Emil Holm, and then me. So that was decent as well. It's always nice to get into transition before the group, or just in the top few of the group. But got out onto the run again in 4th, and just, yeah, didn't have that extra gear. Felt like I was stuck in a bit of an Ironman gear. rather than a 70.3 gear, which is one of those things that, you know, to go up into the full distance and then back down is quite difficult if you're not well into the season. So I was just stuck in that gear and I just wasn't going very fast. I felt comfortable, like it was comfortably hard, but yeah, I just wasn't able to completely rev the engine. So I didn't run very quick at all, but ended up in 18th. So a couple of people from behind blew past me and yeah, overtook me. So I dropped down a few more places, but yeah, overall, it did what I needed it to do for the season. It did regain some confidence, bizarrely, like even though I didn't have a great result, the effort that I was putting in resulted in what I thought it would on the race course, if that makes sense. So more of in South Africa, the effort that I was putting in didn't result in what I thought it would do. Whereas this time round, it did result in where I thought I would be out on the course in terms of the powers, the paces, the speeds, etc. So when that correlates, it's easier to kind of understand how to use that. Whereas when it doesn't correlate, it's far more difficult to kind of like, I guess, accept, because what you're seeing in training, you want to marry up in racing, which again in Venice did more so. Yes, my race execution wasn't great, but in terms of the actual delivery of like my physical ability was probably about right. And that RPE, like relative perceived effort, was again about right. So yeah, no complaints from me for that. I think it was a confidence booster. So I'm looking forward to my next race, which will be in Austria. And yeah, I think that it's one of those where there was a lot of people that went very well. And it was a knock to me in some respects, because it's like, whoa, that's hard to take in terms of trying to compete for those top 5 spaces if people are going to be like that. But at the same time, you've got to take it all into context and be like, this wasn't a race that was well suited to me. It was a flat course. You could draft legally, obviously, and that doesn't really suit my biking ability, because you want it to be a tough course, slow course, so that it's draggy and maybe a bit longer as well, so that I can use my biking power to make more of a difference, whether that be to chase onto the group or to push on from the front or hurt other people or whatever it is. And that being said, I'm not even one of the best cyclists. Like, Rico was above and beyond everyone else, and then Nathan and Yannick were outriding me, really. So yeah, it's one of those where good for what it was. Hopefully I can do better throughout the rest of the season. I tend to build into the season quite well. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the next few races, looking forward to actually executing and delivering a race that I'm capable of doing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the training and racing for the rest of the season. I think it's going to be really good. I do feel far more confident after that race rather than South Africa. I was quite demoralised after South Africa. So yeah, stay tuned. If you want to follow them on in the journey, do hit subscribe, hit that like button, and I will see you next time.